How many times have you seen on Idealista or Fotocasa or whatever, I'm not going there, no way I'm going to that property.
When you give advice on whether to take something down or to put something else in, it's not because we personally think that, we don't like that thing, but it's because we know out of experience that it would just be better, it would sell quicker if it's be done like this and that. Just depersonalize it.
We have had projects where when we were finished and took a very nice photo shoot and everything was properly done in there, we could increase the price 20 or 30% per night.
This is Bay Radio International. I'm Cal Sutherland with our new feature where we look a little bit more in depth into the property market here in Spain. Along with our partners at Villa Lux, myself and Romy, take a look at the latest stories around selling, buying and owning and renting property in Spain. So whether you're thinking about moving here, have just moved or lived here for longer, our new regular programme is for you. Romy, a little bit of a difference to our usual setup this week.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of difference. Actually, very excited because, we are joined by our guest. It's Mara from the Staging Lab. Yeah, she's going to give us a lot of information today about home staging and the benefits of it. I'm very happy to have her on here. So Mara, can you start with just telling a little bit about what brought you into home staging?
After a few years that trying to think about what I could do and not do, then my interest for the real estate was actually growing and growing. And I always moved in different places, so I always was on Idealista, and I always found out that some of the properties could be a little bit better presented and marketed. A few years ago I found out about home staging, and that was actually what brought me into do home staging as a professional, because it allows me to explore my creativity and still work in the sector that I love the most, which is the real estate.
So your background was in rentals and real estate, that sort of thing?
Yeah. I worked in a few agencies, real estate agencies, and then I also worked in hospitality, hotels, rentals. So you're always paying attention to the presentation of the properties, right?
So the Staging Lab is your company. Tell us specifically, what is home staging for those who might not have heard about it?
Well, I like to explain it this way. Home staging is actually not going to IKEA and buy 2 pillows, placing them in the sofa and then just say that you home staged it. Let alone is also not placing these pillows and marketing a property which is overpriced, and also expecting that it will be sold with very little investment and effort. Okay, home staging was created 40 years ago by Barbara Schwartz in the United States, and the main purpose of home staging is to polish the potential of the properties, and to offer a good experience to the potential clients and buyers, either if they're willing to buy or rent out for Airbnb. I think the environment that they want to be needs to be positive and well taken care of, and that's what home staging does.
Yeah, because sometimes, obviously, like as an estate agent, we get into a lot of houses, and especially with buyers, it's sometimes you got buyers that can actually see through these things and they can envision themselves in that home anyway, depending on how it's decorated. But there's also a big bunch of clients that are not really able to do that, and once they walk into a house that's actually a very good house, but just the decoration is not exactly how they like it or how they would do it, they could get thrown off, which is it's a shame.
It's a shame. So also with for example the empty properties, because some people, they cannot imagine the empty spaces, what could they put in there, right? And I've also worked in other agencies, and we've lost clients because the place was empty. It had a big potential, but it could not show what actually could be done in there, right? So the clients chose to buy something different, which they could imagine more, or it was already furnished and decorated.
Yeah, quite often we've seen sort of like orange curtains and different green sofas and all of that sort of thing. So I'm getting an idea now of what you're talking about. But it's not just, is it? Not just what you can see, not from just the colours, but it's also about maybe removing some furniture and putting things in the right places.
Yeah, exactly. It can go to either decluttering, cleaning, reorganizing strategically. There's a wide range of things and steps that need to be done in order to homestage a property properly.
It's got to be about that, getting people through the door in the first place, because if they just see it on a website and they automatically think, no, you're not even getting the chance to try and sell or rent this property, are you?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm not going there. No way I'm going to that property, right?
Yeah. And it's even hard to capture it all in photos. So like the photos that you are able to make and show, they just have to look good, because you need to have these people inside.
You do a lot of videos, Romy, don't you? So I guess this is something you have to do before you even start to do that.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it does happen that we go to certain properties. I mean, obviously we're not home stagers. Of course, it's a service that we could offer as well. For example, working together with Mara. But it does happen that we go somewhere and we have to take things out of the way or just make sure that this specific thing doesn't show up in the video. But that's normal. And I feel like, it's just part of the job, things you got to do. Yeah.
Mara, how can home staging help people interested in selling or renting out their property?
Well, as this can be a very wide solution or a service, let's say, homestaging can help either investors that just bought a property and they want to rent it out for Airbnb, or also estate agencies that they want to market better their properties that they have listed, or even the owners which are willing to sell privately. It can also help them there, right? Because you're basically just paying attention to all the good points that the property has and everything that you can do in order to make it better and improve it. So I think that can be helpful for almost everyone in this real estate sector, actually.
You have a key phrase about home staging, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I like to say this because after a sale or after someone decides to sell the place, is always a reason behind. It's either they want to sell and get some money to buy a smaller property because they got older, or they are divorced. This happens a lot, and they want to get rid of it so then they can move on to the next stage of life. So I like to call it that home staging is actually the key to your next stage in your life, right? Because it will allow you quicker to move on from the next.
If you can get everything set up and the decor and all of everything right within the property, more chance of being able to get it sorted out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, of course, like when people are wanting to buy a property, want to rent it out, they think about return on investment. That's especially for investor people that just want to. So I mean, that's just really important. How does home staging affect that?
For example, speaking about the investments and the rentals, we have had projects where when we were finished and took a very nice photo shoot and everything was properly done in there, we could increase the price 20 or 30% per night.
Wow. That's quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, but some people, they don't realize what they have. And this is something that I like to educate my clients, because as Romy was saying before, some people feel attacked when we are talking about the properties, but we are not attacking, we are just trying to help.
Maximize the potential.
Exactly. So I like to tell them that we are here to help you and your property in order to be more expensive so they can get more money.
I think that's very important as well, because often, exactly what you're saying, when you give advice on whether to take something down or to put something else in, it's not because we personally think that, we don't like that thing, but it's because we know out of experience that it would just be better, or it would sell quicker if it's be done like this and that. Just depersonalize it. And that's, I think, a big part of it, people to understand that and really think about what it will give them back. And
You've had some examples, haven't you, where properties have been perhaps on the market for rent or sale for quite a while without anybody taking it up.
Yeah.
And you managed to turn that around within the space of a week.
Yes, exactly. And this was actually a couple from Javea, and they were divorced. So they wanted to move on with their lives. But yeah, they had a property in common which was not sold for over a year. It had very little visits, and no one was really showing interest because the property was quite sad regarding pictures and the state of the property, but yeah, then I went there, and it took me 2 weeks of a lot of work, but we really succeeded because after a week putting it in the market, it was sold.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's
So-
really good.
And of course, while people still have these properties, they are still paying, aren't they, for things like IBI, water, all of these different...
If you count all of these costs, even insurance of the house and the water, EB, the trash tax, and all of this, if you mix it all this together and then you add it up through the years, of course they're worth. The investment is worth.
And certainly,
It's worth
you could save a lot of that money by getting a company in like the Staging Lab to try and get that sale or rentals moved on.
Yeah.
Well, we also always say, and that's something for, in this case, for sellers to take into consideration. You got this momentum just when the property lands on the market for the first time, and that's when everything shows up, first page on Idealista, we're just talking about it, when it's being pushed out as much as possible on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media networks, just everything. And it's so important to have the property ready to go at that moment, because once it's on the market for a month is fine, but like a few months and longer, it just goes still, and it's hard at that moment to then turn it around, make the changes, because you only realize it at that moment, and you almost got to remarket it again. And it's really it's really important to just get an action quick at the moment you want to start selling it.
The ideal thing would be to launch a property with home staging already. Do not wait a few months until it's not getting sold. Let's do home staging now to save it. To save the property from.
Are there cases where home staging doesn't work?
Well, there are some of them, but yeah, it's quite an interesting question. The home staging would definitely not work if you try to sell the property with overpriced, right? When it's overpriced. It will also not work when you, as an owner, try to interfere a lot in what to do and what not in the property, because in the end we are a team. We are here to...
You're the experts.
Yeah, and we're here to make the most of it. So we are very happy that you have nice children and everything, but the potential clients are not interested in that, unfortunately, but they're not. So all the pictures and all of this...
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, so maybe Romy was talking before we came on air about the fact that sometimes, you get rentals where people have left their family photographs up, and that's not quite what actually helps you rent your property.
It's a nice photo sometimes, but not everybody wants to see that once they walk into a rental home. Yeah.
And the last thing I would say that will make home staging not work will be the process after it's on the listed on any website. For example, the agent also has a big job in welcoming the client, connecting with the client, giving proper information about the property. Of course, you can have a first love, first eyes.
And they fall in love with it straight away.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It can happen, but it's not usual. It's a work of all of us to make a sale successful, from home staging until the real estate agent.
Yeah, it's a team effort, isn't it, Romy, I guess, yeah?
It is. It's like with everything, isn't it? You kind of got to communicate, and you need to know what to do, when to do it. But sure.
So, Mara, what would you recommend to anybody thinking about selling or renting?
I would recommend to find help. Selling and renting a property is not just that, it's way more, and there is a lot more going on behind it. I also say listen to the person who is trying to help you and be open-minded, because in the end we're here to offer help, to give you the best experience as a buyer, and to offer the best experience to the seller as well, so they are comfortable working with a professional. I'm often telling my clients that we are a team, and we are going to work together in order to stage the property the best way we can, but also to market later on the property. We will also be there to assist if it's possible. That's what I would say. Just try to be open-minded and listen to the professionals.
I think that's some really good advice. It's kind of what we were saying before. Of course, people just have to be open-minded because it is so valuable, and it's something, as you were saying, like it's very big in the US already. I think every agent there that goes to list a house, they get a home stager in, and they will do that pre-work basically, and it's something that will probably, I think, come up here more and more often as well, because it just can add a lot of value.
And the way the market is here right now as well, and the prices have increased, the clientele are more wealthy even as well, and they will expect that sort of service now.
They would, it's all getting a bit more.
It's great. I've learned a lot today, actually. It's an area that I wasn't really sure about, but you've explained it brilliantly, Mara, and I wish you in the staging lab all the best. How can people get in touch?
They can find me on Instagram at the.staging.lab, or they can also contact me and have a chat, no pressures, at 644-294723. They can either call me or send me a WhatsApp, and I would be happy to have just an informal chat with them and get to know them a bit better.
It's been great to talk to you today.
Thank
you
you
very much for enlightening us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.